Hey, everybody. Welcome to another deep dive. And this one is going to be kind of different.
Oh, yeah.
We're not going to be like, diving into like super serious stuff today.
Okay.
We're going to be talking about idioms.
Cool.
And, you'd mentioned that you wanted to learn some common English idioms
Right.
to help your conversations flow a little bit more naturally and sound more like a native speaker.
Exactly.
So that's what we're going to be looking at today.
Yeah.
And we found a great resource,
Yeah.
an episode from the English Daily podcast.
Mm.
Called 10 Fun Idioms to Make Your English Shine.
Mm.
And we thought that would be perfect for this deep dive.
I like it.
So we're going to be diving into that
Yeah.
and looking at some of these really interesting idioms. And I got to tell you, just looking over the list, some of these are so interesting.
Yeah.
Like spill the beans,
Oh, yeah.
cost an arm and a leg,
Uh-huh.
break the ice.
I love break the ice. That's a good one.
Yeah.
It's so visual, too, right?
Yeah, it
You
is.
can kind of picture it.
Yeah. So,
What's so interesting to me about idioms
yeah.
is that they really are like little windows into a culture's history.
Oh, for sure.
It's like each idiom carries a story with it.
Exactly.
So we can like trace back, where they came from, what they mean.
Totally. And like you were saying, it adds a layer of like personality to your language too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Instead of just saying the same old boring things,
Yeah,
you can really kind of spice it up.
exactly.
So right away in the episode,
Yeah.
they use an idiom.
Okay.
They say, this is going to be a piece of cake.
A piece of cake.
A piece of cake, right?
I love that one.
That's such a common idiom,
hmm
but it's a good one.
Yeah, and it's such a perfect example of how idioms take
Yeah.
something so simple, like enjoying a dessert, and they
Mhm.
turn it into a metaphor
Yeah.
for something being easy or effortless.
Yeah. So instead of just saying, oh, that test was really easy, you say, oh, that test was a piece of cake.
Exactly.
And it's just like
way cooler.
way cooler. Yeah. Like you just sound so much more confident.
You do.
So what about break the ice?
Break the ice. Oh,
I feel like I hear that one all the time,
yeah.
but I'm not always sure if I'm using it correctly.
That's a really common one, especially in like social situations.
Yeah.
It basically means like to start a conversation
Okay.
or ease the tension in a group.
I see.
So you're like making the atmosphere more comfortable.
So let's say like I'm at a networking event
Mm-hmm.
and I walk up to someone I don't know
Right.
and I just start chatting about the snacks.
Yeah.
Would that be considered breaking the ice?
Totally. You're starting a conversation and hopefully,
Yeah.
making it less awkward
Yeah.
for both of you.
Yeah, it's funny, because like break the ice makes me think about how much humans crave connection.
That's so true.
And we use language, even these like kind of quirky idioms, to like bridge those social gaps.
That's a great observation, and it shows how we use language not just to convey information,
Mhm.
but also to create bonds and build relationships.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next one. What about hit the nail on the head?
Hit the nail on the head. Oh,
What does that even mean?
right.
It sounds kind of violent.
It does sound a little violent, but don't worry, no hammers are involved.
Yeah, good.
Hit the nail on the head just means to say or do something that's perfectly accurate or appropriate.
Oh.
Like you're hitting a target with perfect precision.
So if I was giving feedback to a colleague
Yeah.
and I said, you hit the nail on the head with that presentation, I'd be saying they did a fantastic job.
Exactly. It's like a really concise and impactful way to acknowledge someone's insight or skill.
Oh, okay.
And, it's much more expressive than just saying good job.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. I'm definitely adding that one to my vocabulary.
Nice.
Okay, what about under the weather?
Under the weather.
Now this one, where did this one come from?
Well, the origins of that one are a bit murky.
Okay.
But some people believe that it has like nautical roots.
Okay.
So you know how sailors can get seasick during rough weather?
Oh, yeah. I can imagine that being a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
You're on a boat and you're seasick.
Exactly. So the idea is that being under the weather is like being under the influence of those unfavorable weather conditions.
Okay.
Feeling a bit off or unwell.
So next time I have a cold, I can think of myself as a brave sailor battling a storm.
There you go.
That might make me feel a little better.
Exactly. Okay, so.
Let's move on to secrets.
Oh, secrets.
Spill the beans.
Ooh.
This is a juicy one.
I love a good secret.
Right.
But sometimes it's just so hard to keep things under wraps.
I know it's true. Well, spill the beans is all about revealing confidential information,
Oh.
often unintentionally or against someone's wishes.
Oh, so like if I accidentally let slip that my friend is planning a surprise party,
Yeah.
now I've spilled
Yeah,
beans.
spill the beans.
Oh. Okay.
You've let that secret out into the open, and sometimes the consequences can be quite dramatic.
Oh, yeah.
You don't think about those moments in movies
Oh, yeah.
where someone spills the beans and it changes everything.
Mm,
Oh, it changes everything.
right.
Yeah. This deep dive is already making me see idioms in a whole new light.
Good.
I love how they add a touch of like drama and storytelling to everyday language.
They do.
Speaking of storytelling, let the cat out of the bag
Ooh, yes.
also deals with revealing secrets,
Mm-hmm.
often accidentally.
It does.
But this one has a more intriguing origin story.
It does.
Oh, tell me more. I'm picturing like a mischievous cat just like wreaking havoc.
Well, it's believed to have originated from marketplaces
Okay.
where piglets were sold in bags.
Oh.
And sometimes dishonest sellers would swap a piglet for a less valuable cat,
Oh, no.
hoping that the buyer wouldn't notice until they got home and, well,
Let the cat out of the bag.
let a cat out of the bag.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Right.
So the idiom highlights that moment when a hidden truth or a sneaky cat is suddenly revealed.
Exactly.
It's brilliant.
It is.
It's like a little history lesson
It is.
woven into everyday language. I'm starting to understand why you find idioms so fascinating.
They're so cool.
Okay, what about on cloud 9?
On cloud 9.
Is that one about weather too?
It might seem that way,
Okay.
but this idiom is actually believed to be connected to the classification of clouds by meteorologists.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
So there's a scientific basis for feeling happy?
Well, not exactly scientific, but certainly a connection to the natural world.
Oh, okay.
You see cumulonimbus clouds, those really impressive fluffy ones that often reach great heights.
Mhm.
They were sometimes classified as cloud 9.
Okay.
So being on cloud 9 is like reaching the peak of happiness,
Oh,
just like those towering clouds.
I love that imagery.
It's a beautiful way to capture that feeling of pure bliss and joy.
Yeah.
And it shows how idioms can draw inspiration from kind of unexpected sources.
Okay, I'm definitely feeling on cloud 9 right now.
Good.
This deep dive is so much fun.
I'm glad.
But we got to cover some of the less joyful idioms too, right?
Yeah.
What about bite the bullet?
Bite the bullet. Ah, yeah.
That one's always kind of made me...
That one has a much grittier origin,
Okay.
dating back to a time before anesthesia was really available.
Oh no, this sounds intense.
Yeah, so during surgeries or amputations,
Oh gosh.
patients were often given a bullet to bite down on
What?
to help them cope with the pain.
Oh wow. That's a pretty powerful image.
It is.
So bite the bullet means to face a difficult situation with courage and resilience,
Exactly.
even when it's painful.
Even when it's painful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I can see how understanding the origin of that idiom really adds depth to its
Yes,
meaning.
For sure.
It's not just about doing something unpleasant. It's about facing a challenge head on
Exactly.
with real fortitude.
Yes.
Okay, speaking of challenges, how about cost an arm and a leg?
Cost an arm and a leg.
I think we can all relate to that feeling of encountering something that's outrageously expensive.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But where did that come from?
Well, believe it or not,
Okay.
this one might be connected to the high cost of portrait paintings in the past.
Wait, portrait?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. Uh-huh.
I never would guess that.
Apparently having a portrait painted, especially one that included limbs,
Okay.
could be incredibly expensive,
Yeah.
leading people to say it costs an arm and a leg.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So the idiom evolved from depicting wealth in portraits
Right.
to just describing anything that requires a significant financial sacrifice.
Exactly. It's fascinating how idioms can take root in such unexpected places.
Yeah, it's like a hidden treasure hunt through history.
It is.
Okay. All right, listener, are you ready for another one? Let's dive into burn the midnight oil.
Burn the midnight oil?
I think I might be guilty of doing that a little too often.
The classic idiom for burning the candle at both ends.
Yeah.
But this one has a more literal origin,
Oh.
stemming from the days before electricity was commonplace.
Okay, so before light bulbs, people were literally burning oil to stay awake.
Exactly. Before electricity was widespread,
Mm-hmm.
people relied on oil lamps for illumination,
Yeah.
especially when working late into the night.
Okay.
So, picture this.
Yeah.
A dimly lit room, the flickering flame of an oil lamp casting shadows,
Wow.
and someone hunched over their work, driven by passion and purpose.
That is such a beautiful image.
Yeah.
So burning the midnight oil literally meant staying up late, fueled by the flickering light of an oil lamp.
Exactly.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And it evokes a sense of dedication and hard work, a willingness to go the extra mile. even when it means sacrificing sleep.
For sure.
I love how this idiom captures the spirit of perseverance and passion.
Yeah,
It's like a little tribute to all those who strive to achieve their goals no matter the hour.
totally.
It makes me think of writers, artists, inventors working late into the night, fueled by inspiration and oil lamps.
That's a great image.
And it reminds us that sometimes the most productive hours are those when the rest of the world is asleep.
That's very true.
Okay, this is amazing. I'm already feeling inspired to burn the midnight oil and tackle some of my own creative projects.
I love it.
But hold on, didn't we just talk about bite the bullet?
You're absolutely right. It seems we have a little bit of a repeat on our hands.
Oh.
This just goes to show that even language experts can make mistakes sometimes.
Nobody's perfect. But instead of dwelling on the repetition,
Okay.
maybe we can use this as an opportunity to highlight something else that's fascinating about idioms.
Okay, what do you have in mind?
We've been focusing on English idioms today.
Right?
But what about all the other languages out there?
Ooh, yeah.
Don't they have their own unique set of colorful expressions?
That's an excellent point.
Yeah.
Every language has its own collection of idioms, and exploring them can offer incredible insights into
Yeah.
different cultures and worldviews.
It's like unlocking a secret code to understanding the heart and soul of a culture.
It is.
We might not have gotten to all 10 idioms today,
Right.
but maybe this accidental detour
Yeah.
will inspire our listener to embark on their own linguistic adventure.
I love it. Yeah, it's like opening a door to a whole new world, of
Yeah.
expression and understanding. Like each language has its own unique way of using metaphors and imagery and to
Yeah.
convey meaning. It's really cool.
So while we might have accidentally stumbled upon a repeated idiom, it's actually opened up a whole new avenue for exploration.
Totally.
Who knows what kind of linguistic treasures we might find when we start digging into idioms from other cultures.
I love that.
But before we get too carried away with other languages, we still have a few more English idioms to uncover
Yes, we do.
from our source material.
Yeah.
So we were about to delve into burn the midnight oil.
Burn the midnight oil.
Okay.
An idiom that truly captures
Yes.
the essence of dedication and hard work.
Okay, so this one paints a picture of someone staying up late, working tirelessly into the night.
Right?
But what's the story behind it? Did people actually burn oil to stay awake?
You guessed it.
Oh, wow.
Before electricity was widespread, people relied on oil lamps for illumination,
Okay.
especially when working late into the night. So imagine the scene. A dimly lit room, the flickering flame of an oil lamp casting shadows, and someone hunched over their work, driven by passion and purpose.
Wow. That image really brings the idiom to life. It's not just about staying up late.
Right.
It's about that unwavering commitment to a task, that willingness to push through fatigue and keep going, even when the rest of the world is asleep.
Exactly. It speaks to a certain work ethic, a
Yeah.
dedication to achieving one's goals no matter the time or sacrifice. And it reminds us that sometimes the most productive hours are those when the world is quiet and we can truly focus.
It's true.
Yeah.
I'm feeling inspired already. Maybe I should ditch the electric lights and embrace the ambiance of an oil lamp for my next writing session.
Perhaps a good desk lamp will suffice.
Oh, yeah.
But speaking of pushing through challenges, let's talk about Bite the Bullet.
Yeah.
This one has a rather fascinating, albeit slightly grim, origin story.
Oh, I remember you mentioning something about this earlier. It had something to do with surgery. Right?
Yes, you got it.
Back in the days before anesthesia.
Precisely before anesthesia was widely available, patients undergoing painful procedures like surgeries or amputations
Right.
were often given a bullet to bite down on.
Oh, wow. That's intense. I can't even imagine the pain they must have endured.
I know, it's hard to imagine.
So Bite the Bullet is about facing a difficult situation with courage and resilience, even in the face of pain.
Exactly. It's about making a tough decision and seeing it through no matter how unpleasant it might be.
Yeah.
It's about grit, determination, that inner strength we all have to draw upon when things get tough.
Yeah, it's amazing how an idiom can capture such a complex human experience in just a few words. It makes me think about all the times I've had to bite the bullet in my own life,
Right.
those moments when I had to push past my fear or discomfort and just do what needed to be done.
Yeah, and those experiences, those moments of biting the bullet, they often shape us into stronger, more resilient individuals.
Yeah, they do for sure. Okay, onto a slightly lighter topic. What about cost an arm and a leg? That one always makes me chuckle, but I've never really thought about where it came from.
Right.
Like, what is the story behind that?
Well, this one has a surprisingly artistic origin,
Oh,
potentially linked to the high cost of portrait paintings in the past.
what?
Yeah, imagine commissioning a portrait of yourself back in the day.
Okay.
You'd want to look your best, right? And what better way to showcase your status and wealth than to include your stylish attire and, of course, your arms and legs?
So the more limbs you included in the portrait,
Right.
the more expensive it got.
Exactly. Adding those extra details could significantly increase the cost,
Wow.
leading people to say that having a portrait painted cost an arm and a leg.
That's hilarious. So the idiom evolved from depicting wealth in portraits to describing anything that requires a significant financial sacrifice.
Precisely. It's fascinating how idioms can take root in such unexpected places.
It is. It's like a hidden treasure hunt through history. And speaking of treasures, what about on cloud nine? Is this one about weather too?
It might seem that way, but this idiom is actually believed to be connected to the classification of clouds by meteorologists.
Really?
Yeah, you see those magnificent cumulonimbus clouds, the ones that tower high in the sky and often bring thunderstorms.
Okay.
They were sometimes categorized as cloud nine.
Wow.
So being on cloud nine is like reaching the peak of happiness, soaring high above everything else, just like those impressive clouds.
I love that analogy.
It's a beautiful way to describe that feeling of pure bliss and joy, a state of euphoria that lifts you above everyday worries and concerns. And it shows how idioms can draw inspiration from the natural world to convey complex human emotions.
Okay, this deep dive is seriously blowing my mind. I'm learning so much about the hidden stories and connections behind these everyday expressions.
And we're not done yet. We still have a few more fascinating idioms to explore.
Okay, bring them on. I want to hear more.
All right, so we've talked about facing challenges head on with bite the bullet. But what about those times when we need to just relax and go with the flow? That's where let your hair down comes in.
Ooh. That one definitely evokes a sense of freedom and letting loose.
Right.
But I'm picturing like someone literally letting their hair down
Yeah.
after wearing it up all day. Is that where it comes from?
You're on the right track. Back in the days when elaborate hairstyles were like the norm,
Yes. Yeah.
women often wore their hair up
Okay.
in these intricate styles for special occasions.
Right.
And so letting their hair down signaled a shift from that formality to a more relaxed and casual atmosphere.
So it's like shedding those social constraints and embracing a more carefree attitude. I love that.
Exactly. And it's a reminder that sometimes it's essential to just step away from those rigid expectations and just be ourselves.
I like that. Okay, this deep dive has given me a whole new appreciation for the power of idioms.
I'm glad.
They're not just about sounding fluent.
Right.
They're about adding depth, personality, and even historical context to our language.
Exactly. And they can be incredibly fun to use. Imagine sprinkling these idioms into your everyday conversations. You'll be surprised at how much they can enhance your communication and connect you to the rich tapestry of language and culture.
I'm already thinking about all the ways I could use these idioms. It's like having a secret linguistic toolbox at my disposal.
It's a powerful tool.
Okay.
And remember, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
There are countless other English idioms out there, each with its own unique story and meaning.
Yeah.
And if you're feeling adventurous, you can explore idioms from other languages and cultures.
That's a great point. I'm definitely feeling inspired to continue this linguistic journey. It's amazing how something as simple as an idiom can open up a whole world of cultural understanding and appreciation.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that language is more than just words.
Yeah.
It's a reflection of our history, our values, and our shared human experience.
Well, I think it's safe to say that this deep dive has been anything but a piece of cake.
Definitely not a piece of cake.
We've delved into fascinating origins, uncovered surprising connections, and even stumbled upon an accidental repetition that led us to explore the vast world of idioms beyond English.
It's been quite a journey.
It has.
And I believe our listener is walking away with a newfound appreciation for the power of idioms and their ability to enrich our language and connect us to the past.
Thanks for joining us on this idiomatic adventure. We hope you've learned some new expressions and feel inspired to sprinkle them into your conversations.
And if you discover any fascinating idioms from other languages, be sure to share them with us. We're always eager to expand our linguistic horizons.
Until next time, happy learning, happy idioming, and don't forget to let your hair down every once in a while.